more. All right, we're rolling live from the wasteland. This is Freedom Phil out here in the survival pod. Sun's just coming up in the morning. What's the topic right now? Imagine if taxation was tied to voting. Like if you vote for policies that cause a lot of problems, you have to pay for it. And if you vote for things that are efficient and you actually live an efficient life, you get rewarded on your taxes for it, for the fact that they're like, hey, you're not a problem for society. Let's give you more of your money back because it's your money until the government takes it from you. But why should the people who vote for bad policies walk away paying the same rate as you when they're the ones fucking up your society? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Freedom Phil, like, subscribe. Let's get into it. Hey, turn up the video speed. And why do I say that? Because be real about it. You're watching videos at regular speed. That's just retarded. You know, turn up that video speed. If I choose to upload this, you should be watching this at 1.75. And as always, not a channel for children. I am not your digital nanny. I am not any of these things. If your kid regurgitates something I say, that's because, well, frankly, you probably didn't even know what they were watching. You're a shitty parent. Be a better parent. Know what your kids are watching. Some of my followers, if you're mad that I put you in timeout or I flog you because you're acting like Spurgs, yeah, it's because a lot of you are robots and retards, and I will happily flog you and load you into fodder cannons and everything else. Handful of you, though, are thinking individuals, and I don't mind those people talking. So if you're not a subscriber, shut up. Stop talking. Only subscribers are allowed to speak. Freedom Phil, like, subscribe. Let's get into it. I always say these things because it's common sense. Why shouldn't the people who vote for bad policies have increased taxes? You shouldn't increase the taxes on people that didn't vote for it. Your voting record should be, and if you don't vote for something, then you get taxed. So there's an active reason to vote. If you vote for policies, and you say for instance, this current border crisis happening. This border crisis happened under Biden because Biden let in multiple millions, something I can't even, like they say there's 11 million illegals in America. Not immigrants, just illegals. There's a mass difference between your regular H-1B and your seasonal workers and then flat out illegals. He did catch and release for X amount of time. He built this problem. How many of you voted for the policies, voted for these people that caused these problems? Now we have to spend all this money with ICE getting rid of rapists, murderers, pedophiles, and some people that are just, frankly, they've overstayed their welcome. The party's been over for a while and they're still sleeping on your couch ages later. And we're like, yo, man, you got to go. We don't care where it's like deportation. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And we got to spend all this money just on the regular deportations. Okay? But then we got all these fucking mental retards in some of these leftist cities losing their damn minds, causing all this havoc and chaos and all this shit, building organized teams of people to harass, do you hate ICE? It's almost like people going out there and, do you believe in God? It's the same fanatical mentality. Like, if you don't believe, blasphemer, burn them at the stake. And by the way, they would. If they could get away with it, they would kill you. The only thing stopping these people is their fear of the consequences. Now, in all this insanity, this is costing an insane amount of money. Why shouldn't the people that voted for this insanity pay increased taxes to cover it? It's your fucking fault. And this is the problem. The voting socializes the cost, and yet they privatize the profits. Wow, you always say that about, right-wing capitalists, but it's true about the left. They're socializing the cost to everybody. And I don't think if you're let's say like someone like myself, a minimalist, I'm not a Republican, but I'm a laid-back libertarian. I don't think someone like me should pay higher taxes because you fucked up society. Like, you're basically someone drinking and driving when it comes to voting, and you expect me to pay your ticket or pay that lawsuit that you caused? Fuck you. That should be on you. We shouldn't punish people for being efficient. In the same way, like with the environmental movement, we should make it easier for people to build housing, like earth shelters and, more efficient technology. You really want to save the world, make it to where the efficient people do better. No, you punish people for being efficient. You punish people for being responsible. And even if you're not a player in the game, you are punished and taxed because somebody else fucked up. Now, I say those who fuck up should pay for it. Your vote caused a lot of these problems. Let's give you an example. California. If it's under $900, it's catch and release for criminals. And they're like, why for all the businesses leaving? Because they're tired of basically subsidizing your welfare system. There you go. They're tired of like mobs of kids breaking into a 7-Eleven and stealing a bunch of stuff. And you're like, what are you going to do? If the store clerk or owner shoots some kid, they're going to get sued. You bet if one of them little fuckers got shot. Oh, yeah. They'd be like, oh, wait. If there was some Korean rooftop action. By the way, this is crazy when you think about it, that we have a world where theft has become so normal because people voted it in. Democrat policy, city. By the way, I do think there should be at some point, if you're a city councilman, a DA, a judge, there should be criminal charges if what you're doing is fucking up society. And it shouldn't just be, you just go to happy jail. No, it should be you're flogged publicly. Maybe if you really fuck up, we condemn you to Metallica's One. And then we have one of those, ball throw games where your living corpse of a body is shocked or prodded if someone gets the right number, Like, that's fucking horrible. You want to believe that shit would stop really quick? We maybe convert people into, the women into axolotl tanks and the men and some of the useless women into servitors. I'm only half joking. If there were actual consequences for these fucking retards' behavior, they'd stop doing it. And if they were like, wait a minute, I got to pay higher taxes because my voting fucked up society? I'm going to vote the other way, where my money's mine. And there's always the true believers. Which, this is what ticks me off about it. It's like, I remember the religious right, and I see the fanatical left, and I'm like, please show me the difference. Like, there were people back in the day that were so hardcore, and they still run into them every once in a while. They're so hardcore about Jesus, they would kill you. Well, guess what? The left is willing to do that too. Now, wild thought here. Why should I, as an American taxpayer, because you, in your empathetic, white guilt, flog yourself like the amazing atheist, And by the way, if you're not a subscriber, I don't want to hear from you. That's how things roll here, man. Oh, shit, you are a subscriber. Hey, how you doing? Hi. But, this is the thing about it. I say this because I'm so sick and tired of this insane world where doing the right thing, being an efficient, minimalistic, prosperous person is now effectively, here's how life works. Would you like a normal, enjoyable life? Nope, can't have that. No, you can't have that. Here's your options. Live in an insane asylum where other people vote to destroy the world around you, and you just got to tolerate it. Like, for instance, I saw this article earlier that Dutch Brothers Coffee is moving their corporate office to Phoenix. They could say whatever they want. But look, they've already made all the money they're going to make out of the Oregon area. They're like, Phoenix offers us better airports, better this, better that. No, they offer you better tax pennies. And they didn't even have to give you a sweet deal to get you there. You're just paying way less by moving down there. Why are you punishing your businesses on the West Coast? Whether it's retail theft, normalized, junkie needles, piles of shit on the ground, high taxes. Why are you punishing private citizens and businesses for building something that works? And I'm going to tell you, as a guy who sailed the Great Land Seas for years, as an OTR trucker, whatever you make in Texas, Arizona, Louisiana, Florida, can be shipped anywhere in the country. Tennessee, Nevada. Shit, you want to save some money from California, just move to Nevada. You want to save a lot of money, give Texas a try. Beautiful state. But imagine for a second that if all these votes and these voters, when the policies they voted in, and you're not required to vote, but here's how it would work. If you choose not to vote, then when the negative consequences happen, we just assume you voted for that. You want to see people we want to see 100% of voting? I'll tell you how you get it. Taxation or rewards based on your voting. If the program that you did saved the country money and there's less crime, less problems, therefore less need to have more police or whatever, a reduction of the cost of running government, then we reduce your taxes because you voted for something that worked. And if you voted for something that increases the size of government, increases the need, there's riots and lootings and shit, and it's causing problems, then we increase your taxes because you voted for that shit. You personally paying the cost. Just like if you choose to be a responsible person who parties, maybe you call an Uber, or maybe you have, you walk home. If you decide to be an irresponsible jackass and drive drunk, then you have to pay the cost for that. Just like when it comes to vehicles, if someone gets an efficient little vehicle that gets anywhere from 50 to 70 miles per gallon, then you reap the rewards of your efficient decision. If some other jackass goes out and buys a $50,000 to $90,000 pick-em-up truck that gets like 20 miles to the gallon, that's if you're lucky. Let's say 16 miles to the gallon. I got my dually 4x4 blah, 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 penis extender. Then you pay the cost. But here's another thing. Imagine for a second on the gas thing. What if you swiped a card and you got a reduction in your fuel costs because you're part of the solution? They're like, well, what do you mean? Why should you have to pay the same amount of taxes and fuel price? The reason we need this much fuel, the reason we need this much electricity, this much energy, is because other people are wasteful. If you're an efficient person, you should, definitely. It shouldn't be like, oh, well, you saved energy, so there's a $2 reduction in your bill. Fuck that shit. Like out here in the wasteland, all this power that I use every day, I'm making it. I got my solar system and whatnot, and hell, if I needed to, I got a generator. I haven't used my generator in 4 years. I just sometimes turn it on to see if the fucker still works. I'm the one enjoying the reduction. That minimum fee I don't have to pay. See, that's how taxes should work. When you do the responsible things and you pay less cost, you're not paying not having to pay for rentals out here. Because the way I do things, I reap the benefits of my decisions. In the same way, I don't have to drive, because I'm efficient, I don't have to go to work. So basically, if I only spend maybe $10 or $20 in gas a month for a 1980s half-ton Econoline, E150, baby, I'm reaping the rewards of my efficient decisions. Now, why can't we do this with taxes? Why can't we just say, you voted for bad things happen, now you pay the cost. You pay an additional fee on top of your taxes for your dumbass. Here's another one. You want nationalized, socialized health care? Let's have a fat tax. That should be its own damn video. Let's have a fat tax. Every year, and maybe we could do this quarterly. You can challenge it in court. Quarterly weigh-in. You want to have an AHS? Then you smoke, you drink, you eat shitty food. By the way, we're coming to a digital world anyways. We'll know everything you're buying. Well, so you went out there and bought Little Debbie's and fucking Coca-Cola and bullshit, and you smoke cigarettes. You have to pay a higher cost. We get you on the scale. You're pretty fat. Your blood pressure's pretty ridiculous. You got to pay the fat tax for the NHS. Just like auto insurance. If you're a jackass in a car, you're paying more. But this is the other problem with auto insurance. Not only inflation raises it, but you're in a pool of drivers. Why can't I be in a pool of safe drivers? Well, because we got to subsidize all the jackasses we have here. So you actually pay higher insurance rates because other people get in accidents. I just think that the people who make the bad decisions should be the ones paying for them. The people who vote, like the situation in Minnesota, you voted for all this shit. You should be the ones, not the Republicans that voted against it, Not the laid-back libertarians that voted against it. Not your fake-ass libertarians, by the way. Yeah, libertarian socialism is just somebody who wants freedom and the freedom to do lots of drugs. That's all it is. There's no such thing as a libertarian socialist. These are two things that don't mix together. Socialism, so you know, is the government basically giving you little nice pats on the head and going, yes, you're a good baby. Okay, did you shit your diaper? That's a socialist. A libertarian is someone doing it for themselves like I am. There's no such thing as a libertarian socialist, and we need to have a whole separate conversation about that someday. But the point of it is, by the way, welcome. I'll talk to you in a second. Point of it is, if you charge people taxes based on their vote or rewarded them based on their vote, you would see these problems immediately fucking dissipate. They would. And then the true believers would have to pay the cost for their dumbass decisions. Anyway, I'm going to read this chat and then I'm going to take a... Maybe if Americans had a better education system. No, you know what? Our education system, they have shitty parents. Our education system is shit. You're right about that. But we have mostly shitty, lazy parents. Our education system is not designed to educate you, but to waste 13 years of your life. You are correct that we need a better education system, but a lot of it comes down to, like, what if our education system, if they were to switch to something more like the trades? For instance, like, you were in school and you're learning a trade from day 1 to day 9. By the way, there's 8 people here, only 1 like. Appreciate the like, by the way. But if you want to talk, you have to be a subscriber. Yeah, if we had kids learning the trades, learning accounting, learning actual skills, we'd be far better off. Food, nutrition, and stuff, a lot of that just comes down to big business. It's basically like we have a food system that's more designed around growing corn and soybeans, monoculture crops, and an entire system that's about having to put constant fertilizer than actually growing food. I mean, you just look at how Japanese people are in way better shape, and it's not like they don't eat. They just eat way healthier food. They eat food that isn't designed to be a product. Our food isn't designed to be food, it's designed to be a product. So even if you understand that, one of the problems is most of what you can afford when you're poor, for instance, is what is like pasta. Rice isn't necessarily bad, but it's not great. You can afford sweet sugar and bullshit. And by the way, yes, Americans have a massive addiction to sugar and salt. I'm not going to lie. I like my food salted. But that is one of the major problems of the American diet. And the education is part of it, but our food system isn't for food, it's for profit. So, I mean, that's just a thought. Okay, I'll read this last comment here. Canola was originally meant for machines. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Just like peanuts, the guy that invented peanut. God, have you ever see that Boondocks? Just a closing thought. That Boondocks where, was it Ruckus or whatever his name's going off about? The guy, was it John Carver or something, who created all these wonderful things for peanuts? Just like they were trying to make an oil to run a car, and now they came up with all these products, and now there's all these peanut allergies out there. You know, all these people dead with peanut allergies. What the hell did he ever do? But like, yeah, just like with canola, most of your seed products, it was for a little bit for cooking, but what it turned into was, yeah, we were producing all this stuff to try to find some alternative fuel source back before oil was so widely abundant. Yeah, it's kind of crazy when you go into the history of things like that. Anyways, it's been a while. I'm going to clip this off here and put this to load up. Freedom Phil, like, subscribe, take it easy.